let's shift things over to the Marvel side of the fence, where the Fantastic Four First Steps has been released. It's the latest film from Kevin Feige's Band of Merry Men, and they're the first under the MCU to include the Fantastic Four since the rights have been reacquired from Fox. So this is the third iteration, the fourth movie, but the first with the seal of approval or sorts from Kevin Feige. We have Pedro Pascal, Vanessa Kirby, Ebon Moss-Bachrach, and Joseph Quinn as the titular team who have to defend Earth after Silver Surfer arrives with a warning that Galactus is going to consume their planet. Intriguingly, this is also a movie that takes place on Earth 828 rather than 616, so this is in a alternate dimension or sorts from all the previous MCU films, or at least most of the action of the previous MCU films, if we're getting technical. This movie is directed by Matt Shakman. It's only the second feature film that Matt Shakman has ever directed. He is most notable for directing WandaVision, most people's choice for, if not the best, the second best of the Marvel TV shows that we got. Amanda, why don't you start us off? What are your major reactions to the Fantastic Four First Steps?
I think they oversold it. I didn't like it very much at all. I don't think it's a bad movie, but I think because they oversold it, and I'm coming off the high of like a Thunderbolt, and I'm coming off the high of a Superman, which is like mostly just about like empathy and giving a shit and being nice to people, and then you just kind of have you have Fantastic Four where like none of it felt real to me. We're picking up like 4 years into their run as the Fantastic Four. They're this combination of like scientists, astronauts, celebrities, gods almost. Like the way people treat them, they feel so separate from the people that they're defending that I don't know, none of it, I don't know, it just felt so weird to me the whole time I'm watching it. The intro is really good. It starts great, and then it just kind of gets weird as it's going.
There is this kind of uncanny thing happening in that everything is really sort of buttoned up in a way that kind of reflects the 1960s.
Yes,
like they're going for this retro-futuristic aesthetic. But I agree with you. Like I was wondering how much of it was intentional. Like they're trying to say this is a version of Earth in which everybody acts like they're in a cartoon from the 60s. Or is this just sort of like a weird tonal calculation where it just feels a little bit like sincere in a way that reads cheesy, right?
Fake,
like not sincere in the inauthentically sincere rather than in authentic sincerity you felt from Superman.
To me in a way it's like I almost felt like there's a speech that's given midway through the movie that to me kind of felt like, if in any other movie, this would be somebody that a bunch of people think is great and they love. And the main character would be like, I don't trust this person. I think there's something going on here. But we're supposed to believe that this is like a very sincere, honest, delivered moment to the people with the people. And it doesn't feel that way. Because at first I was wondering like, okay, no, this is just supposed to be the vibe of what's going on. But the more the movie goes on, the less it feels like that's the intention. It feels like they think they've built enough goodwill with us and we understand these characters enough at this point, most people do, that they can get away with not doing any work to make us give a shit about any of these people.
Yeah, this is another superhero movie that is not really doing a big origin story. We get it in kind of a introductory montage of sorts, but cool. We're fairly in media res in this one as well. With the Fantastic Four already established, the relationships to each other established, their heroism already being heralded. Art, did you like this as sort of the way into the universe of the Fantastic Four?
Yeah, it made sense. I do like Superman a bit more than this one, but I see them taking a very similar approach, like we said, in how they're already assuming you know the stuff because it's Fantastic Four, it's Superman.
But it's been like 10 years.
True.
20 if you count the ones most people actually saw.
Yes,
I think they could have given us a little bit more.
was 2016.
Yeah, that's 10 years ago.
And Man of Steel was 2012.
I think we can, in my opinion, I think that Superman and Spider-Man are operating in a world where most people know their origin versus if I asked my parents how the Fantastic Four became the Fantastic Four, they wouldn't have any fucking idea. But if I said, how did Peter Parker become Spider-Man?
Yeah, but they do show it to you here as
They
opposed
do,
to
and
Superman.
I agree with that. But to me, it's not necessarily not showing us the origin. It's not giving us the buildup of who they are as people. We're picking up 4 years into
which
the
I do
dynamic
agree.
of 4 people. That's fucked.
I do agree. In both
I think they
movies.
handled the origin, in my opinion, perfectly. That just kind of like news report. I think that's great, actually. That was perfect. It's the now we don't. They're picking us up in a situation where it feels like almost feels like a part 2. Like,
Yeah,
okay,
I don't
we have the
disagree with
characters
that.
established. We have them established.
Yeah.
Let's just go.
I just think both movies do it. Superman
Yeah.
does it better, but it's still
I
guilty
agree.
of it because we just know these characters a lot more. When the Halo show came out, they assumed everyone played the game, and it's like, yo, like I
Did
get
they?
most
thought they
people are
just
gonna
kinda
watch this
changed
show,
everything in that show.
and they did. They changed everything off of
Yeah.
it, off of also the expectation
True,
that you knew something.
knew what they were subverting. Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
That's
here it's
fair.
like I get it. You don't want to do it again. I like this movie. I think it seems the most out of the 3 of us.
I
But
think you
even then,
do.
it's like, bro, you can't just do these shortcuts of not knowing how they've built up. It's cool that they're all working as a team when they're going out into space. That's awesome. But it's the build. It's the training montage in an action movie
Yeah.
that gets you excited for the fight. And we've skipped all the training. It's in a montage, which again, yeah, I like the production design. I think it looks beautiful. I hear what you guys are saying about this world too. But I liked this alternate world, I guess, because I knew we were going into this
Me too.
reboot
I like
reboot
that.
over there.
Yeah.
And I see what you're saying because it's got that same thing where people turn on our heroes, only to unturn on them again. And I get it. This Jack Kirby world, I think, kind of allowed me to go into it and kind of be like, okay, this is a world that's not like ours. We couldn't get people to stay inside. Now these people are just going to be moving outside and underground in 10 minutes. Yeah, this is a very fantastical world, but
Which is fine.
I
don't have a
like
problem
the
with that.
optimism. It's just going to be very interesting to see this fake world you created. How's that going to fit into this new? How's that going to fit into the 816?
Well, maybe that's because it is in an alternate dimension or whatever, right? And there's going to be a little bit of a culture shock or something when they get there. I am curious
I
to
have an
see
issue.
how they handle that.
Yes.
Go ahead, Amanda.
That's the other issue I have a fucking issue with. They promised us that this was going to be like, you've never seen the MCU like this before. And yeah, visually, no, we haven't. But I was expecting them to do something risky. You get the end of Thunderbolts, and it's the Fantastic Four ship crashing into their dimension. I'm like, they're going to fail.
we don't even know. Yeah.
They're going to fail in
That's
this
what it is,
mission.
bro. Honestly.
Or they're at least or they're at least actually going to have to move their world and unintentionally end up in this sphere. Nothing
That's
happens.
literally what I thought was going to happen.
Nothing
And
fucking happens.
Yeah, and we should get into that. Maybe that is some of the like sort of false promise of Galactus. I think just to sort of put a button on the discussion of the intro, I think one of the things that for me made Fantastic Four's in media res introduction not work as well as Superman's is that with Superman you're kind of already in a state of intense peril. Like he's in the midst of a fight with the enemy that he's going to fight for the rest of this movie.
Yeah,
the stakes are there.
He's beating him more than anyone's ever beat him before. It's like,
Right,
oh
and so
shit.
so we're thrown into the intensity. We're not thrown into the intensity with the same way as we are in the Fantastic Four. They're kind of fine in the beginning of the movie. The thing that is upending things in the Fantastic Four is that Vanessa Kirby's character is pregnant. Invisible Woman is pregnant, and we're more dealing with the interpersonal dynamic of how are they going to navigate this incoming, change into their situation while also being these superheroic figures. And I just think I cared a little bit less about those stakes particularly. Like eventually you get into them, but it took me longer to buy into the kind of dilemmas that the world of Fantastic Four is presenting, at least when things started.
I agree.
We then get to the introduction of Silver Surfer, Julia Garner's character, who brings a warning about Galactus. I know a lot of people really like the Silver Surfer character. How do you feel about this iteration?
I thought it was interesting to
Netta, yeah.
basically give. I thought it was pretty interesting to give Shalabal, Nora, and Rad's backstory because this is an alternate universe. So it's like really playing into that idea of like things aren't going to be the way you're expecting them.
Little
In
Marvel
certain
what if.
Yeah, little shifts that are like, okay, instead of this being Silver Surfer's love interest, this is actually now Silver Surfer. So I thought that was interesting. Obviously, it kind of creates this parallel with Sue that they don't end up actually really using very well, in my opinion, because I don't think they never actually interact.
I liked it.
They don't interact.
They don't have to interact. It's the metaphor between both of them and who makes a sacrifice to who doesn't make a sacrifice.
Yeah, but I don't know. I know because they just get Johnny way too up in there. Johnny's just kind of like, you never asked me. You never asked
I
me.
love
Johnny's trying to
how-
fucking sacrifice himself left, right, and center. And it's like, for what? No reason. You can't do the thing you're saying you can do.
I like how they make Johnny smarter, but he's still the idiot in the group
He's
who
so
took a whole 4 weeks to
I
translate
know.
what the robot could have done in 5 minutes.
I know. It's just, I don't know. I have so many issues with
Do you
this
think
movie.
that there's also a difference between having Superman being one person and then having to get
Yes.
to know a whole family of 4? Because it's like, Ma and
Yes.
Pa can't,
But then
it's
I
not like we
think
have much
back
of
to
them.
Guardians of the Galaxy. Then I think back to Guardians of the Galaxy, and he did it with 5 characters. But I think it's the beauty of being able to have one character that you kind of give a little bit more focus on, while the other people kind of go
For sure,
back.
but I would say I also care more about Jimmy Olsen than I do any of the Fantastic Four.
Yes,
He's not one of the
literally-
foremost people
literally, if someone was like,
in
you
that
have
movie.
Yeah, if you have to trade all 4 Fantastic Four for one Jimmy Olsen, we're done. We're killing them all over again. Franklin can go too.
I think a big issue for me personally with the way that Fantastic Four was put together, I just found the writing to be a little flat.
Yes.
The characters to be kind of neutered. Like
It's
I
dull.
didn't really get the big like what is Mr. Fantastic's deal? Like he's the smartest man in the universe and he's kind of nervous.
yeah, he's
He
by
was the one I think was actually the best handled, in my opinion. I just wouldn't
Sure,
wanted
and
way
then-
more of it. I just wanted
but
more
then-
of it.
Pedro.
Whatever. Sue Storm kind of is there just to sort of be the
Be a
woman,
mom, be a mom.
be the mom,
Which is important, don't get me wrong.
Yeah. Sure, but that's sort of all she is. Johnny Storm, who is supposed to be kind of like the wisecracking loose cannon of the group from my limited knowledge of the characters, and the way they present him is kind of as the comic relief, but
we don't
he's
see
just he's just not a live wire in any way.
No, I kind of got the impression with him that it was like, oh, he's more reformed now. But it's like, no, because at the same time, they're constantly making comments about like, yeah, of course, Johnny falls in love with the naked space woman. So I'm like, okay, is he supposed to be like more the reformed ladies' man? Or are you actually just doing such a bad job showing us who this character is that I'm not getting the impression that Johnny Storm is Johnny Storm? I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah.
Like, Reed to me was actually handled the best. With Ben, it feels like there was an entire section of his story that they cut for time. So they're just like giving us these little teasers with him.
I mean, I didn't get the whole thing between him and Natasha Lyonne at all. I also just had an issue with the look of Grimm's character. Like, I never felt like Evan's voice was coming from that creature. I don't know. It just the writing felt a little flat to me in a way where I wonder if supposedly, there were cuts to this movie to make it a little under 2 hours. John Malkovich is supposed to have been an antagonist in this film, and he is
What?
entirely cut from it. Yeah. I wonder if we're missing, if some of that stuff that got cut out is the stuff that maybe would have established us a little bit more in this world with these characters.
I would assume there's just, I don't know, there's just such a tonal disconnect all through it. Like, Paul Walter Hauser felt like he understood the assignment of what was going for with Mole Man. But it's like the second
Walter Hauser here.
Yeah, but for me, it's like the second you get them away from the world around them, even if it's just in the Baxter building, they stop feeling like they're from that era, this weird futuristic world, and they do just kind of feel like boring regular Marvel characters, but like boring versions of regular Marvel characters. It's like only the people around them that really amplify this kind of like retro futuristic world, in my opinion. And I just don't know what that comes down to. Again, to me, I think it was just the expectations. They basically promised that this was going to be doing something new. This was going to be kickstarting something, and nothing fucking happened. Literally, nothing happens. You brought Galactus in. You brought Galactus in, and nothing happens.
Yeah, and I think maybe some of that is birthed from the idea that I think Marvel is responding to an idea that people don't want to have to do a lot of homework. They want this to work as its own standalone film so that people don't feel like, this obligation in this greater way. But I do think that it does make it feel a little bit inconsequential, like you're saying. Like there's just it doesn't feel like a lot changes. It doesn't feel like a lot happens. And I think that also is out of balance with the villain of this movie, Galactus, who is sort of this really the way, and I don't know the movies, I don't know these comics, but the way he's presented is as this universe-threatening
Yes.
disaster waiting to happen, right?
Yeah,
Like
he's basically like a force of nature that's supposed to exist to keep some kind of balance to things, and he's just forced to just do this day in and day out, whether he wants to or not, because like he needs to.
I kind of like the look of Galactus, especially
He
when we
looks
first
cool.
meet him.
Yes, he was
really
so
big and intimidating.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I had a lot of hope for this pretty much right up until everything that happens after that Galactus encounter. I was like, okay, we're in a good zone. I think we can get something good here. And then everything after that is where I was like, come on, do something. Like a little kid poking like a fucking window at a zoo. Like, do something.
All right, did you like Ralph Ineson's Galactus character?
Yeah, I kept seeing pictures of this man everywhere. I was like, who is he supposed to be in the movie? Then I heard the voice. I was like, got it. Yeah, this is the one thing you're supposed to do.
That's the boy.
I liked his. I thought the textures on him were pretty interesting. You're always going to deal with these CG worlds, but the scope of him, especially when they bring him into New York, I thought that looked pretty dope.
Do you think he wanted to fuck the Statue of Liberty?
Bro, he looked at that Statue of Liberty,
looking at that thing up and
then
down.
he fingered the
Yeah,
ground.
I was like, what's going on?
He was thinking something. I know that for a fact.
I kind of wanted him to like take that mound of dirt and eat it. They keep saying he's the planet eater. I wanted him to eat some planet.
Yeah, but they just kind of look at it funny. It's like, why did he smell that? Like Johnny
I don't
Depp,
know
I'm
why he
like,
smelled
why
it.
is he sniffing that? And it makes me wonder
thought
if there
he,
was
like-
something hinted towards earlier that got cut, but I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, because he just absorbs
He just-
the souls, if I'm not mistaken. So he's like
basically-
smelling the plate.
Yeah, but
That's
he
all
just
the
kind of
Earth would
like
be.
consumes. I know everybody's all like, why can't he just eat empty planets? Because no, it has to be like there has to be life force on the planet.
Yeah,
It's not
it's the life
specifically
in the-
people
exactly.
themselves are incidental, but it's because they're what inhabits those worlds, and he kind of consumes it from the inside. Usually, is what happens. Is that it's just like
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know.
I'm curious to see how they build it if they're dealing with, how they end it is more of a Band-Aid fix than it is a fix, technically. They pretty much just say mathematically, he's where we don't have to deal with him until the 47th reboot.
Yeah.
He's done. He's over there. But
He's
again,
over
like we
there.
were saying, I'm wondering how much of it was like, did they send him where they weren't supposed to send him? Are they sending him to where there are characters that we supposedly know, or however they're going to bring it together?
Yeah, like where did he end up?
Yeah, exactly. Again, I don't mind. I like the characters. I like the actors in the
I like the
movie. I
actors.
just don't think that. I think we needed a miniseries or something to get to know them. We needed to actually be able to have something more than a fantastic 4-minute recap of where they've been.
Yeah.
But I like what
I
they're
liked
going
it.
through, and the whole point of the title, that they were obviously astronauts who got these powers in that way. They were doing the first steps up into space, only to then have their next first steps be their biggest fear, which is them actually creating a family, expanding on it, and how it changes all of them. Reed doesn't know what to do now because he's actually scared.
Yeah. He has like real stakes. Before it's always been
Yeah.
like theoretical huge stakes, and now it's like, oh fuck.
Right? Because it's like, I don't know how to protect this being that's about to come out. Is the being going to be even more powerful than me? I don't even know what their future is going to be, because that's another factor of it, of why Galactus wants the kid to begin with, is that
Yeah.
comics wise, the
That I
baby's going to
liked.
have some massive
That
powers.
I like. That I thought was good. That like
Yeah.
we're
There's that
introducing
whole-
Franklin Richards like right off the bat as like, no, this is like Omega level mutant, but like one step
Yeah.
above that.
There's like something
Yeah.
happening here, and he can't solve the problem that's right in front of him, but he just doesn't have the time, and
Yeah.
it bothers him. And I
This-
love that speech between the two of them, where he
Yes.
says like,
I don't
"It's
want you to
just
be like me."
Yeah, he's like, well, sometimes you being you hurts me, and I was
Oh,
like,
that one,
ooh,
yeah.
okay, this deserved to not be in a Marvel movie, because the fight that they're having is
Yeah.
about their work, and how them being invested into their work is what brings out the worst in them, or like it hurts them the most, because they have this conversation about what is there to be scared of. When Johnny's scared that they're not being liked, the thing isn't scared because he goes, no one can hurt me. Reed is scared that the people hate them, and she's scared that she can get hurt by the people inside the house, not the people outside, and it's him. And I thought the way that they were writing that dynamic within the family was pretty interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know how much spoilers, but when you get into Silver Surfer,
Mm.
I
there's
think
a
we can go full
sacrifice.
spoilers. This is a movie that's made $200 million in the or
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
widely seen, and if you don't want spoilers, you can abandon our review right now. But
Yeah.
let's get into spoilers.
If you want to recap what the original Silver Surfer is, which we kind of see in the Fantastic 405, I think.
Yeah, the one after the 2007, I think, 06 or
Yeah.
07, the sequel. Yeah, like Silver Surfer is like kind of always just this like, well, not always, but typically,
You're
or
Renfield.
like originally, yeah, you're the Renfield. You are the one who was scouting the planets for Galactus to consume. You're the Herald. I know people are like, well, why are they warning? Why is she warning them? It's like, because it's not supposed to be this like evil thing, even though it's a horrific thing that's going to happen to them. He wants, like, Galactus isn't trying to like come in as this like terrifier. He's like, no, take your days to say goodbye to your family because I'm inevitable.
She
But
has
you
that
can do your
line,
thing.
right? Die
Yeah.
with your loved ones.
Die
That
with your
is
loved
the
ones.
blessing in itself.
Yeah.
That is the
Die with
mercy
your
being
own.
shown
It's
upon.
like die with your own.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, die with
Yes.
your own. So the blessing from their planet actually ends up being like this thing that almost ends up being this horrible like send
Also
off
like
to
that.
these planets.
Being heralded in is kind of fire, bro.
Yeah, yeah, you're the
I
herald.
herald-
And it's, yeah. It just kind of does this whole thing to you that you're stuck and you get the power of Galactus to a smaller scale to be this like scout
Just like
and herald.
Galactus itself, he's complaining, I don't even want to be here. I'm just
Yeah.
really hungry. I
Yeah.
want someone to take this spot from me.
Yeah, Galactus
I-
like, I used to
yeah.
be you. I used to be
Yeah.
as small and puny as you.
Look, I hate that it's you, but it had to be somebody. There's
It had to
something
be
I just got to
someone.
do it.
Yeah, and that's
Yeah.
why he wants Franklin. He's like, I want fucking out of this prison. I don't know what I just want the fuck out. And like, I can smell the hunger in your child right now.
Yeah.
Which I think is so interesting. So yeah, you get this.
The original the Silver Surfer.
Yeah.
He's married to somebody. That's the reason like he takes it to protect them. Is this her name in the comic?
Shalabal, yeah. Well, in a lot of them, yeah, it's the love interest. Shalabal is the love interest of Norin Rad, so the Norin Rad Silver Surfer.
But we
so
don't
this
see
kinda-
him in this.
No, and I don't know if there is. They've, again, just focused to she chose to do it to protect her daughter, which I thought was
Yeah.
a better thematic choice for this movie.
Y'all see The Assessment? I think
fucking
because it
hate
just
that
came out. I
movie.
think y'all saw it too.
I
Kind
fucking
of reminded me a
hate
little bit of a through line that was happening in that movie
Fair.
about what you have to pick. But
Yeah.
in the end, the idea is that this Silver Surfer chooses to be his herald in order to save her family.
Yeah.
So now, in order to save them, she can't ever see them.
Yeah. And that's
And the
always what the
difference-
Silver Surfer story is. You're always like
Yeah.
giving yourself up.
But this
to-
time they're alive. And I thought one of the
Yeah.
interesting parts that they put was that there's signals throughout the movie that are coming in through these vinyls. That's
Right.
where Johnny's like, oh, I'm going to learn whatever the language is to be able to
Yeah.
communicate with her. And it's this idea that she doesn't know that they're still reaching out to her in the same way that this family
Yeah.
is now having to decide, would you give up the kid? And she hits them with a line.
She's
if
like,
the kid was
if
old
he was
enough,
old enough,
he would have picked it.
you
yeah.
think, maybe not. Franklin could go evil. Franklin could be like, fuck that.
Reboot this whole thing right now.
Fuck all y'all.
But again, I think they always do the same thing with the Invisible Woman, Invisible Girl, however you're going to look at her, and where she's always going to stretch her powers to the final. You know, the whole
Yeah.
a mother when she's put in peril is going to have 40% more strength or
More
whatever it's going to be.
strength,
See,
But
I
then the
found
way
that
that-
to be just a pretty lame resolution.
No,
mean,
I agree
get
with
it.
you. I hate that.
And then it wasn't
I
even
do
the
not like that.
resolution. It wasn't even the resolution because I
No,
knew it
she-
wasn't
she
going to
came
be.
up
I was
with
like, wait,
60% more-
guys. I was like,
Boom, one
Silver
last push.
Surfer is going to finish her character.
Oh, for that too, yeah. Like, I like it on paper, but that...
I like it on paper. No,
She
no, no.
came out of
literally,
nowhere.
My notes. No. Before Johnny even was like, tell Franklin his uncle loves him. I had it written in my notes. Silver Surfer comes because I just knew what was going to happen. I
Just
wrote
chilling.
it before it started happening, and then I had to cross it out because Johnny starts doing shit, and I was like, oh my
Yeah.
god, are we going to lose Johnny? Interesting. So I wrote
There's,
that, and then
there's
no,
also
pushed out of the way.
and there's also something about the way that she comes in and pushes Johnny out of the way. The way the CGI is handled, it goes into this kind of speed ramp slow motion that
Yeah.
reminds me of like in an animated movie when a dog is like looking at a snack and watching it go by super slow. Like it just kind of it felt
very goofy.
Yeah,
and especially
it's
it's
goofy.
not a goofy moment. It's like a very
No.
serious moment. So it
That's
just
what I mean.
there was a disconnect
That's-
there.
The
It's
slow mo
not
you're
goofy.
talking about. She's on a surf. She's surfing, so she looks
Yeah.
like she just ollied in like that slow
Yeah.
mo when it comes right above you.
Just like Tony Hawk knocked the dude off a board or something. Like it's
Yeah, literally.
I also like when I'm about to call him Thanos, but when Galactus flings Ben,
felt a little like
Yeah,
that.
that was good.
and what's his name goes, no, let me go get you so I could throw you back down.
Back
on
down.
Earth." I can't
That was
let you
fun.
get hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that was good.
So you guys are what'd you guys give this one?
2.5.
I went 2. I really
And
didn't
I
want to go
think
that
I'm
negative.
being
but-
generous.
The Disney check not hit for y'all? Because mine came in as
You
soon as I
You joke. People accused me of that in the Thunderbolts video, and they were like, AstroTurf channel. I'm so interested to see what happens now. They're like, they didn't pay you. And I was like, no, to be fair, this is actually the first time I've ever gone to a Marvel movie early.
Yeah.
And they're not getting any benefit of that.
I did come out closer to you guys the first watch. They were like really big on asking for everyone's whatever. As soon as you got out, I was like, I was like, it's right. Yeah, I was like, it's okay. He was like, okay.
You don't want to know what I think. I actually liked it less the second time. I think we're on opposite.
Yeah, I liked it a little bit more only because of the dialogue. Like all the action and everything to me, the whole world that they're creating is less interesting to me than Pedro and Vanessa Kirby arguing about what you do for a living.
They needed more of that. I think you get the little tastes of that, and then it feels like the movie as a whole does nothing with any of it.
Is the worst part
so it feels
that it's
wasted.
a part of this new entering phase into Doomsday? Because if this was just its own movie, I think it would have been fine.
I also don't agree because I just don't like it. If anything, I was like, this should have just been the intro to Doomsday. This should have been Doom. I get it. Oh man, every fucking movie with the Fantastic Four starts with Doom for good fucking reason.
I don't disagree, but again, that's you saying that you wanted to connect to the bigger overall story. I don't think it's a bad.
I don't even care. I don't even care if this ended up not being the same Doctor Doom that ends up in Doomsday. It's just, to me, they clearly are going to connect this. They've teased it connecting already, and then to not deliver on any of that in a way that could have actually made this like a risky. Not risky, but just something outside what they normally do, feels like that's what pisses me off. It's showing the Fantastic Four ship showing up in Thunderbolts and not having it pay off in this movie is bullshit.
No, I do think that is sort of a thing working against it, and that there is this false expectation there that maybe something is going to be a little more upended. Yeah. But I still just don't know how much I think it works as its own standalone movie.
It doesn't.
Yeah.
It feels like a part two to me, because it feels like we got all of this character work out of the way and now we're just watching them continue. Mm-hmm. But we don't have any of the character work. I don't know how these people have changed in the last 4 years. I don't know what's changed from who they were before that.
Yeah.
New ownership.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you mentioned a lot of the stuff between Vanessa Kirby and Pedro Pascal, sort of debating their roles within the world when they have these outsized sort of expectations on them, and navigating that in the midst of starting a family. I didn't think the movie was really about that much, but I found it most interesting when it was engaging with stuff like that, or when Pedro Pascal's character is sort of trying to figure out who Franklin is before Franklin's born. And there's that one speech he sort of has of, I've been trying to decide who you are, or something like that, but I need to let you tell me. And that just as a sort of resonant example of allowing your children to become who they are. I thought that was like a smart good moment, and a well-written moment.
Yeah. And also specifically, I don't want you to be like me.
Right.
I don't want you to be like me because I think there's something very wrong with me. And they literally quotes Yelena in there. Again, more reasons why I was like, oh my God, they're going to do something. They're going to, and they didn't. But yeah, it's those moments with Reed kind of realizing his, like, the way he is hurting the people around him, but he can't stop because he feels like if he stops, the one time he didn't account for everything, look what happened to them.
Yeah, so they had that one.
So obsessively trying to account for every horrible thing, but then that means he's constantly the one bringing up every horrible thing. And no one wants to hear it.
The worst scenarios enter my mind so that I could hit them before they hit us. There's that one bit where they enter back into Earth, or where they're going back to see Galactus. It's the first time they're going back into space, and he looks at Ben and he just tells him to trust him because the last time they went into space, he turned into a damn rock. Yeah, and I think there's little moments like that I think on a rewatch I liked a little bit better.
I always like those. But
you got to get to know this team a lot more, especially if they're going to be the next big leaders. If Doomsday, they're talking about him not being the lead. We'll see, because now we got Avengers and stuff.
Yeah.
Obviously, I think we're Team Yelena, but between Yelena, Mackie, and Reed,
I'm Yelena.
I'm Team Yelena, sure, but I think if someone's got to lead it,
I'm sorry. I'm going to take the person who's been trained by like the Russian horrible things with her arsenal of weapons over the guy who can stretch. I get he's smart. He's smart. I get it. He's good.
But don't stretch him too far, or that hurts.
You know what? No, Yelena would just get the fuck out of Dodge. I feel safe with Yelena because she wouldn't drag me into it.
I
Oh,
just
no.
ultimately found Reed to be a bit boring, so I'm hoping we're following Yelena a little bit more. One last thing on Fantastic Four before we get into a bigger Marvel DC talk, unless you both have anything else you want to bring up about this movie. Part of the climax, as Art was alluding to, is the sort of fake out of Invisible Woman, Invisible Girl's death, and then they place baby Franklin on top of her, and
So
she
you're like,
revives.
look at your dead mother.
And I don't know. I that baby has no idea what's happening. Like,
No,
it's
it doesn't.
It's so.
I think it's like literally, he can just sense that there was a lack of life force, and it just did it. It just did
I'm
it.
not talking about the character. I'm talking about the actor. Like, that
The actor
baby
has
is
no
just
idea what the fuck is going on.
just that baby's just a baby, and that baby
just
does
a
not
baby.
know what what's happening in that scene.
They
I don't
also
know.
had a lot
it
of
just,
CGI
it takes me
babies
out.
in this.
It's a real baby that they just slapped
According
with
to
a fuck ton
Vanessa
of
Kirby?
CG.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did not get it, bro. The baby looked bad sometimes.
Baby looked
Yeah.
terrible. Especially when they would have
shots
the
of
baby so exclusively held by the thing. So I'm like, so you have a real thing made to look fake held by a fake thing.
Yeah.
Why are we doing this?
Why the rock thing look more real than the baby?
Yeah,
it was
I don't
weird.
know. They've never
yeah.
been able to figure out babies.
Also, the assessment, the baby, the digital baby.
Stop.
That's what I'm saying. There was so many things in the assessment. I
That
just
was
keep
the
watching
first
this
movie I saw after Megalopolis, and like,
Bad day.
It definitely
Bad day
hurt
for
it.
Amanda the Jedi.
it was a bad day. It was a bad 20. It was a bad 12 hours for me. I slept in between, and it didn't help.
We got Tiff coming up soon. I hope you're ready for more of that.